Hello guys and welcome to the SimpliCode programming channel. This is Vikesh and let's get started with today's topic, which is about arrays in Java. We discussed about arrays in a bit detail when we talked about the non-primitive data types, but this is a concept and a topic which needs to be understood well. So that's why we'll do a deep dive on arrays in this particular lecture. So as I described earlier, that array is basically a container which can store values or a sequence of values or sequence of numbers or sequence of characters into itself. You can think of it as a box which can store all the values in a continuous fashion. As you can see here, this is just a pictorial representation and this is coming from the official Java docs. And you can see that if we create an array of size 10, then we have these 10 blocks created here. You can see 1 to 10th. So the whole length of boxes, the number of boxes here are 10. But the way arrays are designed is that the index is basically used to access the element in this particular box. The index of the boxes start from 0. So it goes from 0 to 9. So remember, the array length is 10. The array can contain 10 elements, but the index of the array starts with 0 and will always end at length minus 1, which is 10 minus 1 in this case, which comes as 9. So it will always be length minus 1. It will always the index will always start from 0 and go till length minus 1. Length can be anything. In this case, the length is 10, so the index ends at 9. If the length was 20, the last index will be 19. But in total, you have these 10 memory locations. We also call them as continuous memory locations because they are continuously placed. An array basically blocks 10 memory locations and creates a container over it. So this is how an array basically looks like inside the memory. And whenever you want to access the elements of the array, you will say array of 0 or array of 1 or array of 2. You basically need to specify the index to access the element at index. For example, if you want to access the element which is sitting in this box, you need to say array of index 8. And we'll see how we can do that. But this is the basic understanding and idea of the concept of arrays. So let's try to understand this with the help of an example. I will switch back to Eclipse IDE. And I've created a very simple program here to demonstrate the functionality of arrays here. So we already covered in the previous lecture of what is package and what is public and what is class. How do we give the class name and what is the meaning of this particular method. So I'm not going to cover that again. We'll start directly from here. So here the first thing which I'm doing is I'm declaring an array of integer. This is a variable name, the identifier basically. It can be anything. And this is the data type. It's an integer array, and as we covered this as well, that whenever you put square bracket in front of a data type, it becomes an array data type. So this is an integer array representation. Now we just declared an array, but we still haven't allocated a size to it. So you can do that with this particular syntax. So you can put the variable name of the array and say new int and put the right size here. This size can be anything. And once you do this, now array will actually allocate those memory boxes which we covered here. The moment you do new int 10, these boxes, continuous boxes will be placed in the memory and the memory is allocated to this array. We call this memory allocation. This is how you allocate memory to the array. So we allocated memory to this array for storing 10 integers. The next thing is now we can start storing elements in those boxes. So like I said that the array index always starts with 0. So if you have to store the first element, you actually have to store it at index 0 location. So you give the array name, you provide these square brackets and you put the index value within the square brackets. That is how you basically point to a particular element inside the array. So we say an array of 0 and we put the value 100. Then we initialize the second element which will be index 1. Then will be the third element which will be index 2, fourth element index 3, fifth element index 4, sixth element index 5 and so on until we store till the last element. So this is the 10th element which is accessible as index 9 and the value is 1000 basically. So from 100 to 1000 we stored 10 values in this array and we stored them by accessing the index, and this is actually the only way you can store values in the array, by pointing to the indexes. So we go from 0 to 9 and we stored all the values, 0 being the first element and array of 9 being the last and the 10th element. Remember the length minus 1 concept. Okay, so now we will try to print all the elements one by one. That's pretty much what we are doing now. So as we covered in the previous lecture that we use system.out.println to print anything, and we understood the whole meaning of this, so I'm not going to repeat that. Now we want to print the first element. The first element is sitting at index 0, and we can access that element with this syntax by providing the variable name and the actual index value. So I'm just writing a random string here which says element at index 0, and then I'm putting this plus here and putting the variable name. This plus is basically used to concatenate the output of a static string with a random variable, or basically you can print anything with using plus. Plus is used for concatenation. So I'm just trying to print this whole value, but here this is a string value which is a static string, and then I have a value coming from the array. So whenever you have to print some value from a particular data type or variable or collection, then you can use this plus syntax to concatenate a string, static string, with your actual value. So that's what I've done here by saying plus and array 0. And similarly for index 1, I'm printing the first index, then for 2, 3, so far and so on so forth till the index 9. So basically I'm just printing all the values of the array starting from index 0 to index 9. So that's all which is written in this program. Now let's try to run this program. So I will right click, go to run as, and go to Java application and hit on this. And now if I just expand this console, you can see all the system.out.println statements have been executed and they printed this. So this is the static string part, in fact including the colon. This is the static string part, element and index 0, printing exactly as is, and then dynamically the 0th index element of an array is printed here. Similarly, we have printed the index 1 location element, index 2 location element, index 3 location element, and so on so forth till the index 9 location element. So in total these are the 10 elements, but the index always works from 0 to length minus 1. In this case it will be going from 0 to 9. So this is basically all which I wanted to cover in this lecture. The whole idea was to give you more understanding of arrays, and remember this is just an integer array. You can similarly create a character array. You can also create a string array for you as well. So it's completely related to the data type you are using. If you create a char array, then you can only store characters into it. If you create a string array, then you can only store strings into it. And now you can probably relate back to this particular thing which I explained in the previous lecture, that we create this string array for the reason that when you run this particular program, and if you want to provide any command line values, command line arguments to the program, those arguments will automatically be stored in this args, and then you can access this as args of 0, args of 1, etc. in your program. That's the whole concept. So this is basically the deep dive on array which I wanted to cover. And in the next session, we are going to cover about operators in Java. And if you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up would be massively appreciated. And do not forget to subscribe to SimpliCode for more programming related videos. Thank you, and we'll see you again in the next lecture.